April 21st, 2025. Guys, you're looking at headlines this morning. This is a picture of J.D. Vance, I guess after he became a Catholic. This may have been from yesterday, I'm not sure. He did ease in the back door of the Vatican and do whatever he did. But Pope Francis has died at 88. He died at 7:35 a.m. in Vatican City this morning. I'm sure that's probably UTC time. And I know that he did not do the full Easter Mass yesterday. I think Petra Romanus, or Peter the Roman, did it. He was still, Pope Francis was still sick. But anyway, Malachi told us, or he prophesied about Petra Romanus, the last pope. So we'll see. He's going to be tested. Now, Jesus Christ never mentioned any of the popes or any of the Pope's prophecies. So we'll have to see how that works out. There are a lot of signs pointing to the world is coming to some type of change. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but things are definitely escalating. You got wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, weather, space weather, name it. And right now, guys, the shields are open. We've got solar wind speed at 1.6 million miles per hour. I felt it as soon as I opened my eyes this morning. I could tell it. And it's going to be going on for a few days because we got that massive coronal hole that's opening. Anyway, that's enough about the Pope. Let's look at our space weather. Now, what you're looking at in this picture is what we've been talking about for the last week. This large coronal hole will be turning from the left side, rotating around to the right, and there it is. We're basically broadside. And guys, it's going even as it gets closer to the right side of the sun, we're still going to be feeling the effects because the solar wind does not travel at the speed of light, like a light burst or a photon burst. We're dealing with protons here. And again, they can take a day or two to get here depending on the speed. Right now, guys, we again are at over 1.6 million miles per hour. Think about that. We'll take a look at it. They're saying this moderate G2 geomagnetic storms are possible on April 22nd and 23rd when a co-rotating interaction region, which is different from this solar wind, is expected to hit Earth's magnetic field. It's going to be a double whammy. Now, the CIR, or what they call the co-rotating interaction region, they're like waves of energy, and they have a sine wave pattern. In other words, up and down like ocean waves. And as the sun spins, it slings them out in all directions. It's one large ocean of protons and waves coming off the sun. So when we hit that CIR, or the co-rotating interaction region, combined with the solar wind, we may go above this G2 that they're predicting. They didn't predict the G4 that we had the other day on the 16th. That was pretty devastating. What they are saying now is the sky watchers across Canada, the northern tier of the U.S. states from New York to Washington, should be alert for the auroras. A large hole in the sun's atmosphere, that's what they're talking about here. The large hole is facing Earth and spewing a stream of fast-moving solar wind directly toward our planet. NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, the SDO, guys, photographed the opening, which stretches almost 1 million kilometers across the sun's southern hemisphere. Think about that. It's very large, guys. It's unfathomable. You think about the size of the Earth, and that 119 of them would go across the face of this picture. Not all the way around it, just the face. Then it's immense. And for it to be that strong and powerful, it had to be 93 million miles away from our planet to keep from burning it up. It couldn't be any further. We would freeze. It couldn't be any closer. We would be seeing some of the effects that we may be seeing pretty quickly when that angel pours out his vial upon the sun. And guys, from what I understand, this is the largest coronal hole that's been spotted by the SDO satellites. They've been around for a long time. You know, what, a couple of solar cycles. says this is a coronal hole, a vast region in the sun's atmosphere where magnetic fields have opened up, allowing solar wind to escape. The hole looks dark because hot gas normally contained there is missing. It's on its way to Earth. All of that missing section there, and it's a continuous stream. At the top of the page, we predicted a CIR rotating interaction region that we read that at the top. It would hit Earth on April 22nd, tomorrow. The giant hole is the driving force behind it. Fast solar wind flowing from the hole is compressing slower moving solar wind in front of it, creating CME-like shock waves and magnetic fields that comprise this co-rotating section. G2 class geomagnetic storms are likely when it reaches Earth. And then guys, also here, if you go to spaceweather.com, you can sign up for these space weather alerts, and you'll get it. You've got an incoming CME, you've got an incoming solar wind stream and if you're susceptible to these effects, that may be a very handy tool. Let's take a look at the discovery data coming in from that satellite. You can see that instead of long-term openings, we're getting these short bursts. In other words, the solar wind hits it, it's a little stronger. It's coming in from a little different angle when you see this, and it opens. And this was a pretty good opening at plus 18, minus 5. Starting to close right now, but it's in this bounce effect. So what you're technically getting, if you're feeling these pulses, is exactly that. Pulses from the sun. The pulses themselves are steady. The opening in the magnetosphere is not. It's bouncing right here. And right here where you see the pink and blue, this is telling you there's a change in the angle of the wind, or the direction of the wind hitting the Earth. And so what you're seeing is an inverse chart here. You see where it dips right there and there's a big opening. Well, right here is why, because there's a change in the angle. When that angle changes and it's coming at you, it dips slightly lower or slightly higher, then that's when it's creating the openings that are coming in. Now look at what's happening down here. It's very low density, below 1. You hardly ever see that. Yesterday, this thing was hitting 62, which you don't see that a lot either. But now it's dipping, because the solar wind is increasing. That's the smoke and the wind and the fire. The faster the wind, the less smoke is apparent, right? It's blowing past it. But guys, we're talking about getting up 745, I think was the high, 732 there. And we'll just take a look at something that's very close to that, okay? And if you convert that at 732, again, I saw a 745 peak, but we'll use 732. We're seeing now 1,637,437 miles per hour. That's a pretty good impact force. And that's why the slightest angle change can open it up, and the slightest pressure change, and of course the heat, the density, and the temperature. But guys, it's going to be one of those days, maybe one of those weeks, it looks like. They've been saying we're going to get some rain here in the southeast, by the way, for a few days. It just hasn't made it very far past the Mississippi River if you're along the Gulf Coast states. But that could be changing. We're going to keep an eye on it. Of course, we're getting into warmer temperatures right now, going into spring and summer. How will that affect the planet? In other words, we're tilting closer to the sun. The angle's getting into that summer tilt, and things could really be heating up. I guess it was Thursday the 16th, was the worst day I've had with any of these solar effects. Other people are saying the same thing, that was a rough day. We hope that does not continue, but all signs point to that it will. Now, I've got a video that I'm working on about why the massive underground cities were built a long, long time ago, guys. Some were built before the Ice Age. A lot of them were, and people think, well, no, they were built so that the Christians could hide, or one group could hide from an invading group. But now they're finding so many underground cities that are interconnected. And it could go all the way to the city under the pyramids. And it looks like, with the information coming in from Turkey and that area, that this all could be connected, and there's a reason for it. And it has to do with the Younger Dryas and a couple of other factors. I'm working on it. I'm putting the pieces together now, and it's very interesting, guys. But right now, the world is gonna see a new pope. He's not my pope. I don't have a pope. I don't believe in people that protect pedophiles in the basement of the dungeons and in the Catholic churches around the planet. I'm not talking about the individuals that participate in the church. I'm talking about the leaders. Why? Someone answer me this before you attack me for being... I'm not anti-Catholic. I'm anti what the leaders do, and that's evil. So if you're part of that church, so be it. Can't help it. But why do people send money overseas to a church that protects the pedophiles here in the U.S.? Not all of the Catholic priests have been busted. Enough of them have, though, to make it very concerning. So you might want to just sit down, look yourself in the mirror, and say, what does that church has to do with Christ? It's a Roman Catholic church. Rome sent the people to crucify our Savior. I'm sorry I'm on it, but I don't care. You just justify to me, before you say anything about me being anti-Catholic in this video, why people send money to the church that protects the pedophile priest. And look at some of the other agendas they push, wars around the world. But why do you support the pedophile priests that are taking advantage of young kids? That's just like Trandiagua. It is a national terrorist organization, and one of the main leader just kicked the bucket. We're going to see what the next one does. Not worried about that. I am concerned why J.D. Vance is sneaking in the back door. Anyway, guys, enough morning rant. I'm going to work on the other video as soon as I get time this afternoon, finish it. I think I can get it up today. But we're watching it. You watch it. Guys, do not turn your back on evil. Do not accept it. Do not pay for it. Is half the world that evil? You have to tell yourself, look in the mirror, guys. Most of you are not participants in that pedophilia practice of the priest. But if you support it, if you put money in those coffers, you do. Truth is truth. Heads up, be safe.